It's showtime.
What's up guys, Django Fett here, hunting down games, comics, TV shows, movies, and more, and this is a review for Star Wars Battlefront 2, leading up to the EA Battlefront 2 game. This is indeed the last hurrah to the last great Battlefront games by reviewing this game. Coming out in 2005, a year after Battlefront 1, developed by Pandemic Studios and published by LucasArts, and coming out for PC, PS2, Xbox, and even phones and PSP, and became the highest selling Star Wars game of all time, with a single player and multiplayer experience with the help of Game Ranger. Also, you can switch to the first and third person for both infantry and vehicles, not with the flick of a switch, but pausing and getting to the menu. Just a very minor size complaint. I won't be talking about multiplayer in this review, but it's there, and it's been a while since I've played it, but last time I played it, it was quite a lot of fun. But you can still play it on Game Ranger. Now, this game covers all of the Star Wars eras, the movies, from Star Wars Episodes 1 through 6, with a single-player emphasis on Episode 3, hence that's the same year that Episode 3 came out, which was in 2005. Now, how do I break this game down? Let's start off with the modes, in comparisons to Battlefront 1 and the game that shall not be named.
That's for sleeping with my wife. The damn minivan.
First off, this game has a single-player campaign called Rise of the Empire, in which the player controls members of the 501st as they progress from the Clone Wars to the Galactic Empire era against the Rebels, and narrated by our Mandalorian savior, Tamora Morrison. Compared to Battlefront 1, he is in it quite a lot. The campaign is pretty awesome and much better than Battlefront 1 because it's not just battles with little explanation. This is a full-on campaign. We also have instant action with a new mode called Assault, with just one map, but it's heroes and villains for the Star Wars universe. And there's also mods to get more maps, of course, and I'll address the mods later on. You can fight heroes and villains against one another, which is pretty awesome, and plenty of other instant action modes to your liking. And even a friggin' Wampa Beast mode where you can fight Wampas, and it's just instantly one of the scariest modes ever. It's so freaking cool. There's even Ewoks and, you know, Gungans as well. Pretty cool stuff. And lastly, there is Galactic Conquest, which is completely revamped from the ground up. You have a capital ship, and you must take your ship to conquer other planets across the galaxy and battle against the enemy AI, and the enemy AI has to do the same thing. If you and your enemy meet with ships, then you'll get into these space battles, and I'll get to the space battles soon. But as you conquer planets, you gain points you can spend by unlocking new units and getting bonuses you can use at the start of each battle, like setting more reinforcements, sabotage enemy vehicles, and even using a hero. Because you only start off with one unit at the start of the game, but as you get more points, you can unlock more and more and more as you progress. Let's just say Galactic Conquest definitely did a 180 compared to the first game. They definitely put more time and effort, and it paid off, and instantly became the best part of the game. Now let's talk about the battles more in depth. For the land battles, you have 1 to 2 new special units for each faction, and if you want to unlock the advanced units, you have to kill more units yourself and get more points necessary to unlock those units. We also have new vehicles and of course new battle maps. Mostly just great stuff, but I will say some of the new maps like Geonosis is worse than the Geonosis map from Battlefront 1. Also, the mechanics are much better with this game, with the guns and the fact that you have a sprint button for once for both, you know, infantry and vehicles, surprisingly. It's pretty awesome. And then we have space battles. So Battlefront 1 had their air-land battles, but no space battles. But this game does have space battles, and they're just so freaking awesome. So the goal is pretty much you have a slew of spacecraft, and you have to make sure to destroy the enemy capital ship and the enemy itself and gain enough points to win that battle. Now the presentation, the graphics are not great, but accurate to the troopers and landscapes. There are fixes to the graphics, which I will address later on. You just feel like you're in a real Star Wars battle as soon as you play this. and the sound amplifies that with some great Star Wars music from the movies and good voice work for the characters. Though the hero characters for like Luke and Leia and Han are pretty bad, and it controls very well in first and third person. With normal and elite difficulties are good, but I'd love to see a much harder difficulty mode, not just 2 modes. And because the AI can be bad and stupid in the game, but a little overpowered in some of the campaign levels, which is weird. And the game has a good selection of options, including 4K resolution, but doesn't work for me. I have to keep the game at the max resolution, which is 1080p for me, and if I increase it, it breaks and I cannot play it. It just turns into a black screen, can't do anything. So keep it at 1080p and get that crisp 60 FPS and above. It's just, you can play it on any system and you'll just be just fine with 1080p. It just looks really good. Plus, you can play to 60 FPS too, on any system pretty much. Lastly, let me give my final opinion of the game, then talk about the mods, then give my final rating. I love this game, and it's one of the greatest games I have ever played. Is it my favorite Star Wars game of all time? No, it's not. It's actually KOTOR 1, Knights of the Republic 1. That's not to say that Battlefront 2 is not a good game. It's still a great game. I just love the story of KOTOR 1. That's just it for me. But Battlefront 2 adds so many new features for Battlefront 1 that amplifies the series to a whole nother level. We will see how EA's battle shit will add to it, but I doubt it will come close to the original Battlefront 2. I just don't buy into it. Yeah, you see a couple of trailers, but that's not to say that it could be something completely different or end up being complete shit. Who knows? It could be really good. I may be wrong. I'm skeptical until the time being.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all.
Now, of all the features I mentioned that make this game great and fun, the mods is where it's at. I've never seen a stronger Star Wars community than the Battlefront 2 mod community. A game that is 12 years old is still having more and more mods added to this day. This only gives the game new life and makes people come back for more. Let me mention a few of these mods. Thanks to everybody at Facebook who, made mention to these when I put a post on Facebook. But the mods I should address in my review. First off, the conversion mod, which adds new instant action maps with a new era, KOTOR, surprisingly. It adds new units and maps, which is pretty crazy to me, adding a whole new era based on the Battlefront 2 assets. There's even new modes like Uber and XL, which have these massive units battling out with one another. There's also a Galactic Conquest mod for KOTOR. Just creating revamped all new big modes is crazy, and you have to praise the modding community for that. For Fallout, Battlefront 2, and so forth. They have just put their heart and souls into that, and they should be really praised for that. There are some other crazy mods like Starship Troopers and Mass Effect Unification mod. And with the Mass Effect mod, they recreate the whole game in the image of Mass Effect with identical units and sound effects from the games to the mod. If that is not love and dedication right there, I don't know what is. Then, the Piece of Resistance, the Ultimate Pack mod, which features 100 plus new maps, 10 plus new eras, 10 plus new game modes, 50 plus new vehicle skins and unit models, and a new launcher to customize your game experience, and 5 new AI difficulty modes. This is something I addressed in the beginning. This is pretty much a mishmash of different mods combined into one, and by far the best thing I have seen yet. Thank you to my friend Edward for sharing this to me, because I would have not known about it beforehand. But this mod is pretty easy to install and like 26 gigabytes. But I'll tell you, it's worth it in the end. You're pretty much set once you download this mod. I'll put a link in the description if you want to get this mod for yourself. These are only some of the mods I mentioned. There are a whole slew. I haven't even mentioned like graphics mods, new modes, and so forth. One mod I also think you should look into is the Battlefront 3 Legacy mod, which is a mod built upon the engine of the would-be cancelled Battlefront 3 game that looked really good. Thank you very much, Disney. My final rating for Star Wars Battlefront 2 is... one of the best Star Wars and gaming experiences ever. You're really missing out if you've never played this game before, cause it's fucking awesome. If you love Battlefield games, you love Star Wars, and you love the combination of the two, you're gonna have a blast with this game. I mean, this is truly the height of Star Wars gaming when Battlefront 2 came out, and with Coder. Around that time period, that was when Star Wars games were just phenomenal, and they never let up. Up until shit like Force Unleashed 2 and fucking Star Wars Connect. But I'll get to that way later on. Yes, I'm going to be reviewing that. So the next game, the big bad Star Wars EA Battlefront 2. It's like such a dumb name, EA Battlefront. Ah, fuck, it's fucking stupid. But I will be reviewing that game. I will be doing live streams of that. So I will be paying out of my pocket to play that game and working on a review and whenever that comes out. So
One ugly motherfucker.
hope you guys enjoyed this review. It definitely took me a lot of time just to come up with a script, get the gameplay, and all of this stuff. So it took me a lot more time just to do a review for this compared to Battlefront 1, because there's just a lot to talk about with this game compared to Battlefront 1. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to please like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel, Django Fett, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
You got a lot of nerve showing your face around here, Hauser.
Look who's talking.